Welcome to globaletraining.com. Globaletraining.com offers online courses covering various software technologies. New courses are added on a regular basis. You can email us at training@globaletraining.com or you can call us at 732-588-6564. Hello everyone, welcome to the video series on VB scripting. In the last video, we looked at our initial script and we talked about comments, we talked about variables and how values are assigned to variables, and we also looked at the message box to display the value from the messages. So I'm going to say the value from the variables. We will dive a little deeper into VB scripting and look at more into variables, and also, as promised, I'm going to talk about how we can force a variable, force the variable to be declared, or force the script to declare variables. So that we'll look at that option, and also we will look at another concept called continuing with the script even though you have an error, which is on error resume next. We'll look at the role of that feature as well. Well, we're going to discuss this script in this video, one of the scripts I mean. So let's go ahead and run the script and then start understanding it. So this script is m02 01 variables.vbs. That's the same script. I'm going to run it. So I have 30. So that's the first message box coming from here, line 32. I'm going to click OK. I'm getting sum of 10 and 20 is 30. That's coming from this line, line 34. As you can see, the second box has a title, but the first message box did not have any title. Little difference in syntax and how you use the message box. I'm going to click OK. Then I got the same thing, kind of same. It's a sum of 10 and 20 is 30, but there are two asterisk marks. That's coming from here. And here we'll talk about the difference here. There's two lines, but there's only one line here. Click OK. Then we have, John lives in Milpitas. That's coming from this message, line 42. Okay, now let's go back to the script and try to understand it. We'll skip these two for a minute. Let me discuss the whole script, and then we'll come back and play with these two lines here, line 15 and 16. First, as you can notice, I have comments at the top. You can call it a header. Every company has some sort of header. They'll put it in there. They could track when the script was created, who wrote the script, who updated it, and all that can be tracked here at the top. And they'll add some comments in there. Next, I declared these two options, and then if you look at it, I have an area where I declared variables, and then I started, working with those variables. So if you kind of, split the script, here I have a header, then I have an area to declare, variables, and then I have, the actual processing area. Now within variables, as we have seen, we use a dim keyword to declare variables. You can declare variables one per line, or you can have multiple within the same line. I might as well do this. There's no harm in doing this way. You can declare the whole thing if you like. But when you do this, there's again, for everything, you have pros and cons. It depends on how you want to use it. Though what I personally do is I'm going to put these are two numbers. Now one number I'm going to keep it there. Sum, that's the calculated value. I'm going to keep that separate. Just for the heck of it, you could have here as well. And then I have name and city. There are two strings. I'm just keeping it separate. So I have two numbers, and this is a value that I'm going to calculate. So I just, for that reason, I kept it separate. And then I have two strings, and I kept it separate. You might as well have everything in one line, no problem. But kind of separating out will help. Another thing is I have just used simple names for that matter, num1, num2, sum, name, city. But standard practices, people use the type of data that you're storing in right in front of the name. Say, for example, name is going to store a string. So I could put something like str, string name, and city is going to be a string. I can say str city. So throughout the script, when I look at the variable name, it tells me that it is a string. And likewise, Microsoft has standard practices, or rather say best practices in declaring variables, and primarily the conventions. If the script is small, it's not a big deal. But if you have a large script, it does help you in a big way. And I'm sorry. One other thing is, if you look at the script on a daily basis, not a big deal. But say you wrote a script and came back after a month or two, you might forget. So the comments will help you, and the way you name the variables will help you as well. Just for the sake of the script, I'll just remove that because just because I have the script the way it's written. So that's how you declare variables. And here is a way you can declare a constant. And again, you don't need to have it all in caps, but it's just a standard practice to have the constants names in all caps. And again, this is not a case sensitive scripting. So meaning, say for example, if I do that, but here I'm using caps in caps, let me run the script. 30. The title is coming here from this constant. So it's not case sensitive, but make it all caps so you know that it's a constant, or you can put C1 at the front. It all depends on the kind of practices that you want to follow to make your life easy. So I declare all these variables here, and then I start processing it. Here so I've declared two variables, so here, and I'm assigning two values for num1 10 and the num2 20. And I'm doing a little logic, adding both the numbers, but I'm assigning that total to a variable called sum. And once the numbers are added, the total, which is 10 plus 20, 30, goes into this variable sum. And now I can start using it. So if I say message sum, as you have seen, it just displays a message box, with the default OK button, and you see sum there. Now the next, I have another syntax here to display the same message box, but in a different style, meaning, I'm adding more content to the message box. Here I'm saying, the sum of number 1 and number 2 is sum. So when I put this in double quotes, that's a string, so the message box will interpret as a string and display as it is. And then I'm using ampersand, which is concatenating, used for concatenation. So it will go to the next one, says num1 is, I need to replace num1 with the actual value, which is 10. So when I do ampersand and this, so the script will actually, interpreter will replace num1 with 10. Then I'm saying and, so I'm concatenating the whole thing again. And I'm saying and concatenating again and replacing num2 with the 20. And then concatenating again, and then said sum, then the total value, the sum variable sum gets replaced with the actual total value. And then which you have seen before, comma 0 comma, and whatever I have here becomes a title for the message box. So that's one way. And the one right below it, it's exactly the same. If you look at it, let me make this change and remove this. So it's identical. So all I did was if I put an underscore and this, just for clarity purposes, I'm adding tabs in there. So that tells the VB interpreter that it is a continuation. So it will read the line all the way till here and then sees the underscore, and then it's going to continue reading this next line before it executes it. So if it were to interpret this and execute that portion of the line, then of course there will be an error. But since it is an underscore, it's going to read both the lines and then execute it. Next, I'm declaring values or assigning values for these variables that were declared here. So name is John and the city is Milpitas. And then I'm using, message box name comes from here, which is John and lives in the city. So I'm replacing, I'm going to use the actual variable name to within the message string, and the variable name gets replaced with a value, and then the message gets displayed. So let me go ahead and run the script one more time. Okay, I have value 30. As we know, 10 plus 20 is 30. That's coming from line 29. Sum of 10 and 20 is 30. That's coming from line 33. Okay, 2 asterisk marks. Oh, that I think I haven't saved the file. Yeah, I haven't saved the file. Let me click through it. See, there's a little star right in front of the file name. It tells that the file is not saved. Let me save the file. You know what? This time I'm going to put a little bit different. Control S to save the file. Let me run it one more time. So I have 30 from line 31, and sum of 10 and 20 is 30. That's coming from line 33. So you have all this little indication equal to and greater than sign. That's coming from here. And as you can notice, these equal to and greater than are inside double quote, so it's interpreted as a string. But whereas here, say for example, sum equal to num1 plus num2, so it's interpreting it as an assignment operator, which is equal to, and this is an addition operator. And as you can see, the whole, it read line 35 and 36 and then displayed this message for us. Click through it. John lives in Milpitas, coming from line 41. Okay, you're done. Okay, now let's look at these two options. Option explicit. Let's see what's the impact of that. Let me go ahead and comment that line out and run the script real quick and see the impact. So we have 30, next message, done, no issues. But what this really did was, before, when we had this enable, it's saying that we are supposed to explicitly declare a variable. So let me go back there, and let's say, for example, I'll say name1, and I'm going to use that name1 here. So technically, this name1 variable needs to be replaced with the value John. Okay, let's go ahead and run this one. Okay, actually had this message on the screen, so we have this message here. Click OK, and it says John Milpitas. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't save the file. Let me go to save file again. Okay, just save the file with that change. Now name1, name1, and let me run the script again. So I have 30. Sum of 10 and 20 is 30. That's coming from line 33. And this is coming from line 36 and 35 and 36. And I have no message. There's nothing there. That's one is there's a couple of reasons. Let's go back, make another change. So this is causing that issue. So let me comment this line out, saying that this actually says that if you have an error, just continue. So we're going to comment that line out so that the script actually errors out. So let me go ahead and run the script again. I did save the file. So 30, so that's coming from line 31. This is coming from line 33. That's from line 35 and 36. Look at here, we have an error. We have an error and it says variable is undefined name1. So name1 has a value and we use the name1. Technically it's supposed to work, but we have an error. So let me go through that. And the reason for that is that because of the option here which says option explicit. This tells the script that a variable has to be declared first before it can be used. So if I were to go ahead and comment this line out, sorry, Control save the script, and let me run the script again. Let's see what happens. So line 30, that's coming from line 31. This message is coming from line 33. This is coming from line 35 and 36. Now look at here. Even though we haven't declared the variable explicitly, it's just working fine. Now the advantage is that when you write small scripts, not a big deal, you can skip all that. But when you have a script that is like 300, 400 lines and you have multiple functions involved through multiple files, so it becomes very hard to troubleshoot or debug the scripts. So for that reason, you would use this option, because here it actually explicitly requires us to declare the variable. So when you run the script, now it's going to error. I mean, either we can use or rename our name to name1 right at the declaration place, and then the script will work just fine. Let me save the script, run the script again. 30, second message, third message, lives in Milpitas, no error. And as we have seen, this line will, if you have this line enabled, what happens is, if there is an error within the script, it will just proceed to the next line. Say for example, let me introduce an error into this line. Let me remove commas, save the script. Let me run this. Okay, we enable this line on error, resume next. Let's introduce some error into this and see what happens. Say for example, I'm going to call this or rename this sum to sum2, and we don't have anywhere. If I double click this sum, we can see we have this sum here, but so there's nothing called sum2. And let's save the script and run it and see what really happens. Okay, I'm running the script and I got the message 30. That's from 31, line 31. That message, see, it skipped 33 and went to 35 and 36. So that's what it does. So if there's an issue or when there's an error with that line, it just resumes to the next line. That's the role of on error resume next. And do you use it all the time? No, but if there's a large script you want to kind of test it, and that's when you use it. But option explicit is one of the most important declarations in the script, because that really helps you to make sure that all your scripts, all your variables are declared. And I want to show you one last thing in this video is let's say I comment those two lines out of the script. Let me save it. So there is no explicit declaration is required. And here let me say, instead of num2, I'm going to say num3. We don't have num3 here declared. I'm saving the script. It's saved. Now let me run the script. So I have 10. So it says a message box sum, that's coming from line 31, But on 29, it was supposed to add num1, num3. There is no num3, so it just assigned 10 plus nothing to sum, which would be 10. So if you click through it, now look at the sum of 10 and 20 is sum 2. There is no sum 2, and we are not getting any errors because we didn't use option explicit. And now look at this, sum of 10 and 20 is 10. We know it's wrong, but it again, because we commented this option explicit out from the script, that's the reason why the script is behaving this way. So it kind of, this is a small script, so it's easy, but when you deal with large scripts, this will be a painful process. So it's highly recommended that you use option explicit in your scripts. Well, okay, that's the end of this video. I hope this is kind of introduced more into the VB scripting, more into variables, more into using option explicit on error resume next. And we also talked, looked into multiple ways of using message box keyword for displaying message boxes using the script. The next video, we will look at arrays. Thank you.